Hey everybody, Hostron here with another First Edition Friday video. 2 weeks ago, I showed you guys a next generation report salad deck that used scientific diplomacy and finest crew in the fleet and office of the president and attention all hands to report personnel for free. So what I've done for you guys this time is that we are taking that deck and that idea and we're combining it with last week's video's kind of idea of time travel. And what we've done is we've made a new deck. We've taken that deck from 2 weeks ago, we've modified it to do something a bit more fun. What we've done is we have added in historical research, which downloads the Guardian of Forever. And Guardian of Forever allows us to time travel between there and a corresponding time location. Well, we have Earth already, and Earth has a bunch of different corresponding time locations to it. But if we want to not break our continuing mission, we can't do the obvious choice. We can't do Cetacean Institute, because you must download George and Gracie, and they will break your continuing mission. Because it is still being played during the seed phase. If you were somehow seeding them, I think that if you were well, yeah, I still believe that when you do it in the seed phase, you are still playing them in the seed phase, I believe. And so, because of that, we can't do George and Gracie. If I'm wrong on that, then that would be the change that you would make. But I'm fairly certain that downloading George and Gracie during the seed phase is still going to break your continuing mission. I'm like 99% sure of that, but please leave a comment if you know that I happen to be wrong on that. If we could specifically seed George and Gracie, then it would not be playing them. If we could, if George and Gracie didn't have to be downloaded, we could play that time location. But as such, we're going to simply go with 22nd century San Francisco. We don't. Downloading the Seat of Starfleet is something that you are required to do. But Seat of Starfleet is a facility, and continuing mission doesn't care about facilities. It just breaks if you have a non-TNG personnel or ship that you have played. So we're okay with that. So we have our matching Earth time location. We don't plan on playing anything there. But what it does, and the reason why we're okay with going with it over the Cetacean Institute, is that 22nd century San Francisco, non-22nd century cars are excluded from battle here. And so what we can do is we can turn our temporal conduit into a dual function card. So in addition to the temporal conduit allowing us to play AU personnel and ships and stuff like that, and also AU dilemmas, we have the ability to time travel all of our cards here at Earth back to 22nd century San Francisco, and then they're excluded from battle. So an opponent cannot shoot them, they cannot try to assimilate them through battle, they cannot blow up your ships there, because even if they're 22nd century, your cards are not. And so your cards are excluded from battles there. So the 22nd century San Francisco acts like a seeded stratagema for us in a limited sense. You have to kind of see your opponent coming and you have to choose to go back in time. But if you do see them coming, if you're playing against the battle deck, it provides you with a safe haven. Of course, the more important reason that we're using it is because it's the time location that we're traveling to with the Guardian of Forever, and then the Guardian of Forever allows us to then travel back to the space line at historical research and then play a copy of it out of hand in order to draw cards. So we're seeding historical research to draw cards with Guardian of Forever out of hand. And because we want to have anthropology people in play, we also can seed a duck blind there. And then, of course, we're continuing to use the other missions that we had before, the Earth Suite to form region to kind of convince our opponent to cede away from us so that we can get these 2 missions close to Earth. Or at the very least, get these 2 missions close to each other, but then also get this mission at least close to Earth. And then we're doing just a 2 mission win again by going with historical research. We do open up with its 40 points, plus a mission specialist with Darian Wallace. This mission's also potentially worth 45. And so we can potentially 2 mission win by doing historical research instead of having to do Earth. But Earth is just probably our preference. We've changed up the seed cards a little bit to accommodate this. Again, we have changed out Leia Brahms for Darian Wallace because he provides us with one anthropology in play immediately. And there's been a few other minor changes that we made with the seed cards because we had to make room for 22nd century San Francisco and so forth. But what you see here in play is what we're seeding. We're not seeding any artifacts or anything else like that. We are sticking with the science support personnel to go get our copy of Sergei and Helena still. But this time around, they're not so much a first turn draw engine as they are a download of their son Nikolai, who's got anthropology. So he provides us with another anthropology that we can send to the past for card draws. So, once again, we have busted out the dilemma testing deck here. We've got our dilemma set up for randomly to be pulled out for us to face randomly. This time around, what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of randomly set them up as is. We are going to just randomly determine 1 through 6 how many of a particular space and planet that the opponent randomly chose to go with. They're going to go with 4 of each. So we're going to put 4 planet dilemmas out, and we're going to form combos with them with, this is, oops. Yeah, these are planet dilemmas. Okay. So here's the planet dilemmas, and we're going to, now we'll randomly select a dual dilemma to go with each. So we'll put a dual dilemma here and a dual dilemma here. We'll put the dual dilemma at the back of this combo. We'll put the dual dilemma at the front of this combo. And then we're going to randomly determine which planet mission they go under. Alright. So the first one and the last one alright, so this one's going to go here. This planet combo is going to go here. Then we're going to form space combos the same way. One, 2, 3, and 4. And then we'll put a dual dilemma on the front of this one. We'll put a dual dilemma at the back of this one. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 re-rolling 5s and 6s. So 3, 1, and 3. So we'll go 3 and 1. So 1, 2, 3. Actually, it was 3 and 6 because this planet dilemma is excluded. I suppose we can do it that way. So that means that this one goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This space combo goes here. And then we'll make dual combos that are going to go here and here. Again, as I've said before, if we encounter a dilemma that does not make any sense in the position that it's in, then we have the right to basically form a cohesive combo that we'll dig out a card that makes much more sense. So if we encounter like, Arsenal Divided as the last dilemma in this Space Mission, that doesn't make any sense. No one would do that. So that's how we'll test. We have moved the deck to 61 cards, and the reason being that we've basically added 10 copies of the Guardian of Forever. We've added some copies of Holodeck Door as another additional kind of sort of free play engine. And then, of course, we've added some Anthropology people into the deck, as well as, since we are going with Group Therapy as a way to dig out specific Federation civilians, we've added some key Federation civilians into the deck. Law can get us copies of skills that we need. We have Data and Picard as a big 6-drop. They provide us with Anthropology and Archaeology. Picard provides us as an Anthropology person, and then Anthropology, Archaeology together helps us solve. It helps us solve historical research, should we go after it. But the other thing is that Data and Picard are also extremely good at beating V-Jerk because they have Anthro and Diplomacy and Computer Skill on them. So Data and Picard are extremely good at beating a V-Jerk, which is just a good reason to play it. So yeah, Group Therapy is to help us kind of pull specific cards out of the deck. We don't get them directly into play because we're not playing with Karen Lowe's or anything like that. And the ones we're pulling out are not genetically enhanced. But it's a seed card that allows us to dig for specific Federation civilians and makes it very useful for this deck. So we'll go ahead and shuffle up here and draw. And we'll just do a quick little fishbowl again. So we got a pretty decent draw here. Baron is actually the first Fed civilian that we pull out of the deck. So it's going to allow us to then dig for the second one. So we're going to play Jobrill for free with Scientific Diplomacy. That draws us a card with Continuing Mission. We'll convert that card draw through Group Therapy, and we'll just go get Data and Picard into our hand. We're going to play Baron for free as a Universal with Attention All Hands. We're going to play Rolaren as a USS Enterprise personnel. And we are going to just assign support personnel, card play. We're going to download a Nebula, so we have a ship into play. And then at orders phase, we will download Sergei and Helena. To the ship. Alright, so that counts as our personal download, so we're holding on to the Holodeck Door for right now. We've still, if you remember the last version, Benjamin Maxwell is still our captain, and we still are playing with Taking Charge. So we're going to just load everybody up on the Nebula. We'll fly 4 to here. We're going to beam down an Anthropology personnel and an Anthropology personnel. And then we'll have these people continue on the Nebula. They'll get to Earth. Our captain is once again going to download for us a Visit Cochrane Memorial. Now, we have added a lot of doorways into this deck. So I'm going to tell you guys right now that playing with Cochrane Memorial in a lot of doorways is not necessarily the brightest idea, but we are just having fun here. And these doorways constitute 1 out of 6 cards. So, yeah, you have a 1 in 6 chance of end up having to discard a card, but you've got a 5 in 6 chance of not having to do that. And we'll play those odds because we are playing with Duck Blind, and we have a pretty powerful card draw engine with Guardian of Forever. So even if we have to randomly discard with a Cochrane Memorial, an existing Guardian of Forever kind of helps balance that out. Because it provides us essentially with one additional card draw over your standard out-of-hand card draw engines. So there's a little bit of a give and take there with that, and we're willing to just play those odds because we're playing, not necessarily a hyper-competitive deck here. So we do have a Human Engineer. They will beam down, and then end of turn we will probe with Visit Cochrane Memorial. We hit a Fed, so we're already ahead on the curve. And then we have the Duck Blind going with our 2 Anthropology personnel, so we draw a card, and look at that. And then we draw for the actual end of turn. And we like what we see in our hand here, so we'll just take that draw. And look at that, another copy of Guardian of Forever. So then, opponent has their turn. We go to our second turn. We're able to play Dr. Rega for free. We're able to play a Herbert for free, and he draws us a card. When he comes into play with Continuing Mission, he comes in for we'll have one copy come into play with Attention All Hands. We're going to turn that into a download of a civilian. We have a lot of choices here. We've got Lal. She's a possible choice. She's kind of a premier choice for us. We also have Guinan. And we're just going to go get Guinan because she helps us bust up dilemmas. So we're going to play her as our USS Enterprise personnel. And then we're going to card play Data and Picard. And then for our personnel download directly into play, we'll do a holodeck door. And we always grab Commander Troy because she has Anthropology. And so we have this human. Oh, we also on our opponent's turn had downloaded Nikolai Rozhenko with Sergei and Helena. So we have this human become our Cochrane Memorial Engineer. And we can have the USS Nebula fly to here with all of our people. But before we do that, we would download Secure Homeworld with our captain and our taking charge. But then we have this Anthropology person, and this Anthropology person, and this Anthropology person beam down. And we can have the ship just go back to the starbase and dock with our people here. And then we can choose 2 of our Anthropology people to be on the planet for the Duck Blind. We'll simply choose Baron and I suppose Nikolai. And then we'll have the 3 good Anthropology people go back to 22nd century San Francisco and find out what it was like there and then. And we get to the end of turn because there's not really anything else we can do or want to do. So we will have Herbert probe with Visit Cochrane Memorial. And it is a person fed, so we do draw it. We still have our Duck Blind going, so we draw that. I said the wrong button there. And then we draw off at the end of turn. Opponent takes their second turn. We go to our third turn. We can play this Ambassador for free. We can play this USS Enterprise personnel for free, and then he draws us a card. We can play this personnel for free for scientific diplomacy. And we can play this universal person for free. We then time travel Commander Troy back to the present, and she's going to draw us 4 cards with Guardian of Forever. Same kind of attempting rules apply as we've had before with this deck. You can basically risk anybody who is not a mission specialist. So let's just go ahead and have a group. Figure out who our keep our mission specialists out. Have this group here. We've got some science personnel in here, so if they die, I mean, if Tapan dies, we can score bonus points off of her. I mean, Jabril's not all that great, but that's fine. But we'll just have Benjamin Maxwell just stay on the outpost. I think we want to pull the empathy off of Commander Troy. Maybe. Since we have Guinan, she can also just straight up nullify a V'ger. But we really don't have any other diplomacy. And so it is a skill that we might just want to have. Same way with the empathy. So what we would do is we would just have the ship fly over, grab Commander Troy. We don't have any other anthropology that can take the place of the other people, so we just leave them behind. We'd fly back to here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We don't really want to go with 9. So we would just have, I think we would just have Sergei and Helena stay behind here. We still have like two engineers, 3 engineers, 3 engineers. So we have plenty of engineers, and I don't know that we need the honor. Well, we have 1 honor. We won't have 3 honors. So if we encounter Ankari's spirits, we don't have the 3 honor anyway. So it seems kind of pointless to worry about that right now. We'll have this Deanna Troy while we're thinking about it. Download Intuition. And then before we attempt, it might be relevant, we will attempt to call a personnel, and once again we're going to take 1 through 4, we would draw. Nope, we don't draw. Okay. We will have Dr. Reagan download Metaphasic Shields. And we will attempt the mission. Alright, Temptations of the Flesh. We're going to assume, let's roll a die here. We have 1, 2, 3 objectives in play. There is just a high probability that our opponent would have 1 or 2. So let's just assume that we have to stop 5. So we will stop 5 here randomly. So I'm going to shuffle. It'll just be the left 5 that will stop. Which means that these 3 continue, which means we do have the command star. So these 3 will continue. And they'll hit a faux pas. We don't have 3 VIPs or 3 diplomacies. Okay. She has 1 of each. We don't have any. We have another diplomacy back here at Earth, and that's it. We have another one who's here in the past. So depending on what we can play next turn. Yeah, well, we also have this. So we know we can download Admiral Picard. So we're going to be able to pass that dilemma next turn. So, okay. So that was our turn 3. And we would just draw, we cannot probe here because we don't have a person to do Visit Cochrane Memorial. So we can just go ahead and just draw 2. Cool. Alright, opponent has their turn 3, we have our turn 4. We're going to discard the assigned mission specialists, and we will immediately Paler Tophet, because we're just going to make it our card play this turn. So we're... Well, maybe we don't want to do that, because we want to pass the dilemma. But we can download a diplomacy personnel with it. So let's assign mission specialist. And we just grab Riva right away. Riva will be our first selection here, wherever he's at. So we get Riva. Let's grab our engineer. That draws us a card. Alright, we can play a USS Enterprise personnel for free. We can play a Universal person for free. We do not have anything else we can play for free. We cannot download anybody else. So what we will do is we're going to simply have Data and Picard come back to the future, and they're going to draw us 4 cards. That's pretty good. That's pretty much exceptionally good. Save the game here because it was processing, so it worries me. Okay, so we can take the Nebula to here to pick up Data and Picard and then fly back. We will swap Joe Brill out for Data and Picard. And we will unfortunately have put our diplomacy personnel at risk here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We don't really want to go with 9. Let's have Ro Laren sit out for right now. I would think that Wesley Crusher seems like a bit of an upgrade over Tapan. We only have 1 dilemma left to face. Again, Guinan can just flat out beat a V'ger. We will naturally beat a Gom2. We have plenty of engineers. We have double engineer. We have double astrophysics. We have triple astrophysics. We don't have any medical. So we can't beat a cloud. We can't beat a cloud no matter what we do. Because we just simply don't have the medical, period. So there's no use worrying about that. So a cloud would probably jank us pretty hard here, but what is it to live with it? Ankari Spirits. We just can't deal with an Ankari Spirits either. But we would be able to cure it. Because we would have 1 engineer, 2, 3 engineer behind it. So, and exobiology, I think. I forget what the exact requirements are offhand, but we would be able to cure it with non-stopped personnel. So we'll just go ahead and run in. Diplomacy, diplomacy, diplomacy. We beat this. We face the last dilemma. Oh, a median. Interesting. Okay. So, a median disintegration will kill the most skilled engineer, which is going to be Wesley. Haha, ha 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 ha. Wesley's gonna die like the punk-ass bitch that he is. Nope, sorry. No, wait. It doesn't see both sides of Data Picard. It only sees the data side for the number of skills. So yeah, it is going to be Wesley Crusher who's going to die, and then we beat it because we have engineer. Diplomacy, engineer, nav, science. Well, we obviously have diplomacy, but we no longer have navigation. So that actually worked out for us. I totally spaced it that we wanted to not solve, so we didn't want to put Wesley into the mission attempt. But it worked out in our favor. So we don't solve because we don't have navigation. So yay for us. Yeah. Which means that we have the choice. I mean, we can't fly anywhere anyway, so there's no point in us solving right now. We can just basically chill out. We can just put everybody back on the ship and dock it, and then we will be able to solve. Because next turn we're going to put our other two mission specialists out. So what we will do is we will have Deanna's going to try to draw. We miss again. And we are playing with the Q's tent where we could attempt with these two personnel just to see this dilemma. If our opponent has a Q the ref or whatever, we wouldn't do it, but we're going to assume that our opponent doesn't have it. So we're just going to walk these two out and we're going to have them attempt Earth. Oh, goody goody. Okay. So they encounter the Beige. We're going to have Baron and Nikolai simply attempt here at historical research. Okay, we'll get rid of this. And they're going to kill Baron. And that's fine. We're totally fine losing the duck blind card draw. We have 10 cards in hand. We're fine. So the shot in the back goes away, and that gives us plenty of options here. So yeah, we end the turn and we go to our 5th turn. We draw a card at the end of turn. All right, so we can do scientific diplomacy for free. We can do USS Enterprise for free and draw a card. We can do... No, let's do Universal. And then that way we can do USS Enterprise here. And we can do card play of, I suppose, Tate. And then we can holodeck Door. And I believe that this card in hand is the only remaining target that we have. Yes, that is exactly the case. So we just simply download the card out of our hand. We're going to assume that our opponent does not have anything that's going to make us think that they have mission debriefing, and we can simply attempt and we can solve for the full 60 again. We don't have a science in the discard pile, unfortunately. Oh well. We're going to have Darian Wallace come back to the future. He's going to draw us 4 cards. We're going to have Deanna Troi attempt to draw a card. This time she does. We're going to have the USS Nebula fly to here. We don't need any mission specialists at this time. We have a lot of anthropology, and we actually have 2 our archaeology is a little lacking. But if we really wanted to be crazy, we would have the ability to simply not put them at risk, and we could just simply attempt here at historical research. Because we actually have anthropology, archaeology, and we could have these three people attempt and solve. I would need honor or treachery. So quite literally, this is like our solving team right here, and everybody else can be put at risk. Because we don't have any other archaeology. But if we go back to Earth, solving it is still basically the same scenario. But we don't have a mission specialist if we need them. We also have more leadership and security, I think. Let's check our leadership. We have one leadership. Oh, we have the leadership mission specialist. So it's the same thing. We have 3 leadership. Yeah. So we're in a scenario here where we need 2 of these to go through. We need 2 of these to solve. So we're kind of in the exact same scenario, both ways. The Beige makes you feel like, if we were playing against someone who was like normally constructing dilemma combos, I would expect to see a dead end behind this, and if that's the case, then we would absolutely punch Earth hard, because we've got dead end beat, which means that we're thinking that we only have one dilemma to beat. So let's go that route. As much fun as it would be to do historical research, we're gonna do espionage mission, because it puts us at Earth where we can report another ship if we lose our ship and stuff like that, and we already have the staff. Then we have the staffing there as well. So, well, we will for funsies come back to the historical research after the game's over. So we would move on with everybody, and I don't think that we're too worried about a Deniven here, but it's always possible. So, but I think we would just attempt with everybody. Well, maybe not, because we would also be concerned behind an experienced Beige. The other possibility is a hire the fewer into the dead end. So let's just send some. Let's just send in some crappies, but we'll also send in Guinan just in case it happens to be like an AU dilemma, but we're not expecting one. So we're gonna send in a lackey team here. Everybody else is going to be in the headquarters, except we're gonna put transporter skill aboard the staffed ship. So that they can beat Jolly Chew if they face it. Okay, so we have anthropology. So then this group here will attempt. Okay, 2 hand weapons for 3 security. They don't have it. So someone dies who's a non-changeling. 1, 2, 3, 4 rerolls on 5s and 6s. All right, Joe Brill dies. So now we need to have 3 security or 2 hand weapons. We have 1 security here. Unfortunately, we sent a security in. He fortunately didn't die. Here's another security. Yep. And then up here is security. So we have that beat next turn. We can also just Yep, we're going to have that beat next turn. So then we just have to face one more dilemma behind it. So, okay. We don't have any more range, so we can't go anywhere else. So we would just end the turn. We might as well just probe here with this human engineer who hasn't probed yet. And it's a non-aligned card, so we would discard a card, but we have plenty of, we don't have any use for this anymore. And then we would just draw Dixon Hill, which, it should be noted, we cannot play because we have Data and Picard out, and we don't have the ability to persona swap both. So Data and Picard would have to find a way to die for us to play Dixon Hill, which we have our way to kill them if we want to kill them. But it doesn't seem like that's necessary, so the Dixon Hill is kind of a meaningless draw at this point. Alright, opponent has their 5th turn, we go to our 6th turn. We can play this Admiral for free and draw a card. We can play this, and then we would probably just go ahead and play, we would play LOL. We could just play LOL. And she's present with all these people here. So let's just go ahead and pull. We can hedge our bet that we would maybe need to go back over to historical research. So we can actually pull archaeology off of Picard. And we can pull. Let's pull geology. Yep. Let's pull geology in case we need to have like 3 geology for, you know, rock people or some nonsense like that. So she's going to have archaeology and geology. And there's no reason for us now, we don't have to worry about, we beat dead end. If they hit us with a, higher the fewer as a 3rd dilemma, then they deserve it. They deserve to whack us with it. So we would just go in with everybody here, I think. Except for obviously these 2 up here. We want to just make sure that we still have Jolie Chu beat. So we beat this dilemma, and then we face the last one, and it's just an M113. That seems like it would never happen. So we're going to randomly pull another duel. Let's go with you. Alright. That actually seems like it would be a decent, like, 3rd dilemma here, because they would have it set up naturally with you need to have 3 securities. So we need to have civilian, diplomacy, anthro, and youth. So we have the civilian? Yes, obviously. We have a civilian, we have diplomacy, we have anthropology, and we have youth. And a person with strength less than 8 is not a problem. We've got Tate. And so we would beat that dilemma, and then we'd be able to solve Earth with our leadership. And let's do. Where'd our other leadership go? Oh, sorry, it's aboard the ship back here. So we would not solve with this team. Oh, obviously it's right here. Duh. So we have leadership. She has the security. She also has the treachery, and then we obviously have the. We also have the attributes. So, cool. That would get us 45 points and the win. So turn 6, again, pretty much right on schedule for, you know, a deck that can compete for a win in the current turn 5, turn 6 meta that we are in right now. Yeah. So now let's, for funsies, assume that we went back and we did this mission here. So we did not have LOL, and we did not have Tate, I believe. I believe they were in hand. Joe Brill was in play instead. And obviously, instead of Admiral Picard and Herbert, we would have had Herbert along with our solving team here. The people that we wanted to protect. So him and Alexander and Haika. These three right here would have been able to solve the mission. And we could have protected our anthropology mission specialist, which was Darian Wallace. I don't know where the heck he went. He's disappeared on me. Where'd you go, Darian? Why am I... Oh, that's where they went. So yeah, we would have had, and then Darian Wallace. So staff star, staff star, staff star. We still need a command star. So we would again just probably have had. We could have had. Yeah, I think we probably would have just had. Benjamin Max will be up on the ship as well. So, and then everybody else would have ran in. No, there's the tenement. Alright. Reveal to others, none in shuffle. So then we just would take, so we had 17 people here. But this is a duel, so it's 18, so we'd take 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These 9 would have died. And then we would have faced Hippocratic Oath, which I would not expect. So this one instead, Trilithium Ray, that makes a lot. That would have been a legitimate final dilemma to face. 2 engineers in strength greater than 40. We actually have the 2 engineers. Strength greater than 40. We had 10, 15, 18, 22, 25, 28, 35, 42. Right? Yeah, 10, 15, 18, 22, 25, 28, 35, yeah, 42. We would have had it. So if we would have done historical research instead, we actually would have won 1 turn earlier. So definitely a turn 5, turn 6 threat. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this kind of different take on the deck that I did 2 weeks ago. Which just goes to show you that like you can have a basic idea with a deck, and with just some thought, some ingenuity, some creativity, you can have a deck go in a lot of different directions. It just kind of depends on what you want to do, what you expect to see. Like the deck from 2 weeks ago was weaker to battle. So then if you're like, well, I want to be a little bit more prepared for a battle deck, well, this provides you with a way that you can kind of still have the deck move forward with the same kind of speed, but also then have battle protection in a way that's still like interesting. So there you go. Hope you really enjoyed this. Again, please leave any comments that you feel are relevant to the video. Please like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Hit that notification bell so you can, if you haven't already, so you can be notified when I drop videos. As you found out last week, I dropped 2 videos last week. So I hope you enjoyed both of those. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, everybody. May the profits be with you.